Hi! I have never done a live stream before on YouTube. I have no idea if anybody's actually going to watch this, but here you go. You've picked me on a well, you've picked me like you've just dropped in. No, I've decided to do this on a random day. I went in for some minor operations yesterday. I've got all plasters all over my face, look like a pirate. But anyway, enough of that. Yeah, I wanted to just post a few little videos of short practices because I tend to do like full videos of the lessons that I teach. So yeah, here it goes. So I want to do today a little seated practice. If anybody wanted to ever get up in the morning, feel a bit stiff, you don't have to do any downward dogs. I mean, everybody thinks, I think a lot of people think that a downward dog is what yoga's about. You know, it's so random. When I first got into yoga, the reason I got into yoga, it's very sad, it was because of Madonna's biceps. It seems so stupid to admit this, but anyway, she it's when she brought out the Ray of Light album, and like she had a song with the yoga chant that they have in Ashtanga, and she got these amazing arms. And I was like, oh shit, it's fantastic. So that's how I found out about yoga, and yeah, took it up, and I love it. But yeah, and I just thought, you know, that Ashtanga was the only yoga, and I think a few people think that, and it's not. You know, I'm influenced by many different things. And today's practice is actually influenced by somatics and stuff like that. So you can blend it in. It doesn't have to be tough. So I think I'll stop talking and get on with it now. I love it that one person just joined and then like, hey, going now. So I'm going to just adjust this camera. So I'm so professional. I don't have a proper camera. Just my laptop and feathers on the floor. Anyway, so take a seat if you are going to join me, or if you just want to stare with your cup of coffee. I have coffee as well. So anyway, take a seat. So yeah, you don't have to sit like me. You know, just because I'm there, you do yoga, it doesn't mean you have to sit like this. People have all got different hips. The way your pelvis is made and bones and things like that, how they connect in, might be that your knees are never ever going to sit like this. They might be up there. If you've got tight hamstrings, you might find it really difficult to sit. You know, a lot of people when I'm teaching they can sit like this. So if you need to go and block yourself up like you're playing Jenga, go for it. You didn't need to see me crawl on the floor, but there you go. I'm just demonstrating that you can use whatever you want to sit on. So this is me sitting on a cushion. Just turn off the camera. And this is me sitting out a cushion. So there you go. So you can sit up. You can even sit with your legs in front of you. You might choose to sit on your shins. If you sit on your shins, again, there's issues with knees. Your knees might not like it. So you can always pop a little block beneath your knees. You might want to pop something underneath your feet. So it's this first part of this is just finding a nice foundation for you to start your practice on. So I will calm down in a second. So there. So I'm sitting like this. So part of this for me is settling in and just, you know, you've just seen the energy that I've got, you know, Mrs. Rabbit, blah, 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 you know, kind of thing. So when you close your eyes, you're just shutting off those distractions and shutting off the fact that, oh, someone's still watching me live. And starting to engage with your breath. And it's kind of, for me, it's like shining a spotlight on the body and kind of just checking in, thinking, oh, I didn't realise that, you know, you're listening for signals in your body, thinking, oh, that hip hurts a little bit and the neck feels a little bit stiff, and just checking in on what you're going to be aware of and listen to as you're practicing. So I don't think you should ever practice yoga blindly and just push yourself through things. There could be a reason that there's an issue, and you know, just dancing around what that issue is and trying to make things better. So from here, I'm just going to place my fingertips on the floor. So I'm going to walk back a little bit, just I'll stay on camera. I've got a habit of disappearing off camera. And I'm letting my hands guide me forwards. There you go, look, hands are vanishing, but I've still got hands, I haven't vanished completely. I'm letting my head fall forward. So I'm going just to a natural conclusion. And I'm walking these hands as close as somebody else's hand back in. Then, Placing my hands on my knees, I'm going to start moving the pelvis. So I'm just going to tilt sideways just so you can see what the pelvis is doing. So right now I'm visualising my pelvis is like a bowl. It's nice and upright. And I'm going to tuck the tailbone. So the tailbone is right at the base of your pelvis. I'm just going to tuck it under. And because the spine is stacked on top of it, the spine is rounding. I can feel these ribs at the front coming closer to the pelvis. And then I'm lengthening my tailbone away from, so I'm pushing the tailbone behind me, and I'm now lengthening up to the heart's come forward. I've expanded the belly, and again I'm tucking the tailbone under. And again I'm lengthening. I can feel the muscles at the back tightening to raise the chest, and then I can feel these muscles lengthening at the back to bring the chest forward. And just rising up and down. Whoever it is, you random person that is watching me, I've never ever done one like this. I tend to practice them either to the camera on my own or to the people that are attending the lesson. So thank you very much for staying with me. And I can be inspired, and so I've absolutely no idea who you are. So now I'm just going to spin around again just so I can come back to centre, and I'm just allowing myself to move into the middle. And I'm going to now bring myself from left to right. So I'm thinking about this rib cage of mine, and I'm going to shunt it almost to one side. So I'm pushing the ribs towards the mirror, towards my window that you can't see. I'm dropping the other shoulder. And then this hand here, I'm going to squeeze it in. Imagine I'm just kind of squeezing something under my armpit, and I'm just tightening this side of the body. And then I'm coming back to centre. I'm going the other way, and I'm going to push the ribs out towards this wall that you can see. And then I'm dropping this other shoulder, and I'm squeezing in. And go the other way. Then, I'm coming back to the middle. I'm going to circle the pelvis. So I'm just picturing now, well, I can feel it, that I can go around every part of that bone of the pelvis. Tailbone, left hip, pubic, right, and then letting the spine circle on top of it. And it's really nice just to close your eyes and actually feel the circles that the body's doing. You can feel the shoulders making a little circle, and because your hands are resting on the knees, you can feel your elbows making some delicious little circles. You can feel your ribcage making a little circle. You can kind of feel your head balancing, doing the smallest circle of all. I'm just going to go the other way. And then I'm arriving back to centre. Place these hands back on the floor. And if you are doing this, you might experience that as you bring your hands forwards now, you can go that little bit further because you've loosened up those muscles of the pelvis and the lower back. Deep breath into ribs and shoulders, and I'm staying on the fingertips just because it helps me feel that I've got lots of broadness in the collarbone. So walking the hands back in, and I'm going to go into a little side bend now. So I'm placing these hands, not anybody else's, my hand. This is my right hand, it's going down by my side. Oh, hello, look at my lovely Ryan, so organised. And looking across to my left shoulder, and I'm going to let these hands walk out towards the wall. And I'm trying to not twist, that's not a twist at all. So I'm thinking about my shoulders being stacked, thinking about keeping the collarbone lined up, looking out. Letting my left hip feel nice and heavy, so again we're expanding down this side, and I'm going to reach out the left hand just to create a bit more expansion room, reaching from the middle finger, I know I'm going to disappear off the screen, the hand's going up and it's reaching towards the wall. So again, with the arm, again, what you don't want to do is have it coming across a bit. The aim is not to reach the wall, it's to go over. Just again, feel the expansion through these ribs. And again, this hand that's on the floor isn't passive. I'm not dropping into it. I'm pushing those fingers just so I can feel a lift into the ribs. And back to the centre. Taking a moment just to feel what's happened in the body now. So this left side feels nice and flushed with energy, feels really light and vibrant. This one feels a little bit sad and lonely, a bit dead. So I'm going to lift the left hand down now. So organised moving this way. Walk this hand out, and again keeping the ribs tucked in. So I'm mindful of my lower ribs. Sometimes when you're trying to lift up, you push the ribs forwards and it crushes the lower back. And keeping these lower ribs tucked in, level with the front of the pelvis. Walking the hand out as far as it wants to go, and again staying on the fingertips, pushing down with the fingertips, feeling the connection into the shoulder, reaching the right arm out. And what I'm not doing is bringing it back. Again, thinking about the collarbone, the shoulder, and the arm staying lined up. And then reaching up. And as you're doing this, if you are doing this, again, you're thinking, am I twisting? Am I twisting? If you're twisting, don't go all the way over. Again, the aim is not to reach the hand up, reach up. Let your right hip feel heavy, and again keep pushing into the left fingertips. And then moving back. And then let's place the fingers behind the body. So the hands are coming together, and I'm stretching the elbows. I'm going to roll the shoulders around, back and down, open the chest, and just taking a big deep breath across the collarbone. Let's do something a bit different, shall we? So I'm going to bring my legs out in front of me. And here they are, nice and wide. Another person join me, here, a random person. And the knees are going to drop towards the left. And the hands are just going to find the floor behind me. Let's move these cushions that you don't see anymore. And so the knees are going to drop across. Pelvis is lifted. And then bringing the right hand across and looking over the shoulder. And just taking a little hand, and then the pelvis is going to roll back and going the other way. So knees dropping, looking around. And going the other way. And just feeling the bones rolling. Nice spiraling twist. You're not pushing, just noticing where you come to a natural end. And after a little while, you'll start to feel like a little spiral. And then what we can begin to do now is this hand, slide it away from you. So take the hand and slide it towards the floor. And then bring the hand back in. So I'm moving, if I tend to move across the floor, you need a massive room, sliding. And what I love about this actually is as you slide your hand away, you get a really good sense of connection from the wrist, the elbow, all the way into the hip. And it might be that one side of the body needs this more than the other side of the body. So I'm just going to hang out on this side so you can start to slip into these places. So I'm just going to hang out and, take the palm off my carpet basically whilst exploring this side body. I'm rolling gently across the hip. I can feel the pelvis kind of turning around the thigh bone. I can feel the rib cage turning through space. And then I'm going to move back to center and go the other way. Whee, and around I go. A really nice exploration of your hips. I'm just going to come back to center and just start to bring the bottom closer to my heels now. So the bottom's coming closer to heels and the floor. Now here pressed on in a little crouch. So I'm just going to hang out and crouch. for a minute. So some of us find it really difficult to have feet on the ground. I don't. I've got long shins compared to my thigh bones. My heels are down and then dropping down. But if you find that you're on your toes, if you drop your heel, you're going to fall backwards on another kick on your toes. It might even be you might need to go wide, explore where your feet should be that's going to support you best in your crouch. And you listen also to your hips. If you tend to find it a bit pinchy in your hips, don't go there. You want those hips to be nice and just walking back and forth across the feet. And then from here, I think I should stay on camera. I don't know. I'm going to just push down into toes and feel my bottom looking to the left and point into a fold. And then again, I'm dropping the bottom back down. And then again, pushing down into those feet. You can feel that movement going up into the hips. And getting back down. You can see that my belly is staying on my thighs. What I'm not doing is straightening those legs and pinking up. So I'm keeping the softness in the knees and keeping the belly on the thighs as I move. So basically, if you tend to find that you're pinged off, what you're finding there is that the range of your hamstring and anything else being straight in the legs is travelling into your back and your back is doing the fold. So I'm keeping the back out of the equation and really focusing on that movement staying in the hamstrings. So there's a big inner listen that you have to do. Letting my head stay nice and loose. Then I keep looking at you so my head's a little bit relaxed and keeping the head as loose as I can. Almost thinking about the top of the body staying asleep as I practice. So let's hang out in the front. The head, the shoulders. So let's come back down and back onto me. Next one will adjust the camera. So organised. So where do I want to end up then? I want to end up in a few little pigeons, if you don't mind now. So here we go. So, in fact, no, not. We're going to end up in something completely different. Let's start. I haven't got a mat, so I tend to find that this mat makes the room really dark. So here I am. Head will on not. I'm going to move into a cat-cow from here, so I'm going to just lift my tailbone and let my belly drop and lift it. And then I'm looking down. Tailbone drops, so does the head, and then lifting tailbone. And then I'm going to let my right leg become involved in this. I'm lifting my tailbone and raising my right leg up behind me. As I look down, I'm feeding this right leg behind my left, walking my hands in, moving slightly backwards so I can complete this movement. And then with my inhale, I'm looking up and raising my left leg out, I'm tucked it, and then as I look down, I'm bringing the left leg behind the right and walking my hands in. Inhale, so I'm just going to look down to the left and right knee, bringing it up, and then inhale, raising it up. And exhale, bringing it back. And I'm going to stop right there, just mainly because I'm going out of camera space. But if you go back all the way, it's a fancy way of walking across the room. So now what I'm doing is widening out my feet. So they're not together, I have a bottom and I want to bring it between the feet. So widen out the feet. And I'm just rocking a little bit, backwards and forwards. And I can feel the front knees lifting off the floor. I don't know if you can see it, but that front knee, I'll just move this t-shirt of mine. It's lifting off the floor. And I'm exploring, coming in to sit, and I find that comfortable. I come to sit in between the legs. So coming to Gomukhasana pose now. So if this is horrendous for you, you can take the bottom leg out and have one leg crossed over. Then I am happy as Larry sitting like this, so I'm going to stay here for a moment. And not being that this is just the world's worst pose for you anyway, and you could just keep rocking in and out of it and just exploring that as a movement. Lots of better options. And then let's add in a little side bend. So I'm going to place my left hand on the floor and reach across. And then I'm going the other way. Bring the fingertips forward and walking forward. Again, that might feel horrendous. You don't have to do that. You can stay nice and upright. You've always got to listen to number one. You've got to listen to knees and hips and listen to all the signals. Okay, so I'm going to go back onto these knees now. So playfully hands on the floor, pulling, and I'm going to shift you back a little bit so I've got some space. So I'm going to do my tailbone, look down. This time the right knee is coming out, it's coming forward, it's crossing over the left. And then lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, coming back into my cow pose. Inhale, looking down towards the knees, right, the left knee comes out and round and feeds over. And again, walk your hands forward, lift tailbone. Inhale, the right leg is coming around, it's being on top. And here is where I'm going to stay. So I'm going to widen out these feet again because I have a bottom. I'm going to rock it back and forward, see how this feels. And sit and move. I'm doing the opposite leg, I couldn't show them for a sec. Again, checking in, does it feel good? Yes, it does. I could straighten out this bottom leg, but I'm happy to stay. So again, you tend to find, you've got like go over you go, you tend to find you're a bit wonky and you're like, I'm in the floor. It might not be good, just a little bit explore having that leg forward, it might feel more comfortable. Again, you're listening to hips, you're listening to knees. And then I'm taking one hand out to the side, and again, I'm reaching up. I'm just going to spin around, so you can see me reaching up. Like, oh yeah, she's totally reaching up. Getting these ribs hooked in. And then we cross and go the other way. Hands forwards. And then taking the leg forward. So I'm just going to end with something for the legs now. So here they are. I'm just turning it out again because I'm rubbish at filming and I'll keep going off camera. So here is my left leg. Here we go. And here is my left hand. And what am I going to do? Yeah, I've got what I'm doing now. And so, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to have the leg out. I'm going to slide my left hand down towards my foot. Oh, that's right. Yeah, having the right leg bending. That's what the legs are about. There you go. So I'm sliding. And in fact, I'm going to slide my right hand down towards my left foot. There you go. And for me, as you can see, it's going into a fold. But I'm not looking for this whole foot. I'm just, imagine that you've got some moisturiser or you've got really lovely hair, like, and you've just fallen over stroking it because she was really weird. And you're stroking your leg, and or maybe you're moisturising some sun cream or whatever, and just letting that hand go as far as it wants to go. And allow yourself, you're just rocking across the pelvis, feeling the pelvis rocking underneath you. So I don't need to strain, I don't need to get into this. So again, rock, let you, feel where the furthest your hand will reach. And you close your eyes, I've got my eyes closed now, you get a really good more sense to that. But as you bring the hand towards the ankle, feel your chest turning, you feel your shoulder aching, and it's just a gradual thing. And then what we can begin to do is explore stopping. Looking over the opposite shoulder, walking the fingers somewhere to support. And let's walk back. So you can sit knee in, opposite foot out. So this is my right hand, this is my right leg, and the left hand is going to do a lot of stroking. So again, just starting at the knee, taking it towards the ankle. And again, closing your eyes gives you really good feedback of where it all ends. So you can feel the connection on the hand, through the wrist, the elbow to the shoulder. Taking time to explore the strokiness of the hand. And so this time, not feeling myself turning too much. So now I'm going to start just to look over this right shoulder. And feeling myself alone across the pelvis, and again the exploration of the left hand, elbow, shoulder, and how it all connects into the hips. I'm going to allow myself just to rest. Looking over the right shoulder, the right hand is finding a place to support. And taking a really good deep breath into this left side. So for me, I've got quite flexible hamstrings, but I'm feeling it in the left side a little bit in the left lower back, and spending some time letting the breath really feed into it. Let's place the hands back into the floor. And well done for staying with me. So thank you very much for watching. There we go.